ॐ गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मम् तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः ॐ शुक्लं भरधरं विष्णुः शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भार्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Namaste. Welcome. We're going to do a beautiful satsang today. One of the things that has been coming up as a constant mirror for me, this is the thing I'd love you to look for yourself as well, is those patterns of experiences that happen again and again and again that are actually teaching you something about where you are in your life and what's happening in your life. And you'll see that there's a repetition. And this is the way that the mother, the divine mother, is working with us right now. So it's important to try to be more conscious of these patterns and what exactly is happening, things that keep messages that keep coming back over and over again. So one of the things for myself that may be something that you are noticing as well is this truth that just because the world is doing something in a certain way doesn't mean that we have to do things in that same way. There's a lot of times one of the illusions that we can buy into is this societal norms of things. And we see it so often that it becomes almost expected that these are the behaviors that we will do, and these are the behaviors that are necessary and or even good or right, when they're not necessarily. They're just what we're used to, and they're just the norms. So for me, I'll just give an example. So there are, for example, there are companies or individuals that have a business, and they will provide a service for people. And when they're providing the service, the focus isn't necessarily on what's best for the people that they're serving. And it is instead, the focus is on how they can cut costs for themselves, and make more money off of the transaction with the person. And to a certain extent, we have to, we need to be able to eat, and we need to have a value exchange. And this is all part of the setup of Maya, where we have some and none, right? We have this duality playing out all the time. And that exchange is played out here really well with money. However, they're in the understanding, the spiritual understanding that we are all one, and in the spiritual understanding of union and connectedness and servant heart, the having the foundation of our business, of any business or transaction, be what is for the highest good for all involved here, so that there's still a value exchange, but there's also, without sacrificing something that is actually necessary or would be helpful to the person that is being served. I mean, I'm talking very vaguely, but I could speak, for example, in the housing industry, flipping houses. A lot of times we'll see people who are paying their workers, and they'll take workers who will do it. So they want, for example, the workers want $20,000 so you're hiring them to flip this house. I'm going to pay you $20,000. Or the workers say, I want you to pay us $20,000. That's how much we need for our whole team to do well and to have these things. And then if you come back with, I need you to do it for 13, which is significantly less. And you can tell in the energy exchange that the people that are being asked to take a significant amount of money off of their typical price, which they are obviously inexpensive to begin with, just from the exchanges. And then the person who is asking them to do that goes and makes $55,000 from the flip. When they could have even split it and said, instead of $8,000 off, we'll just do $4,000. You know what I mean? We'll split the difference, so that it's still inexpensive for them and they feel comfortable, and also not gouging or not taking from the workers. This kind of norm, we see this kind of norm all the time, and we say, oh, well, they need to make a profit, and they're smarter if they make more of a profit. But this is all very human, and the very human ways of thinking. And yes, it is a societal norm, but that doesn't mean that if you were flipping a house, or if I was flipping a house, doesn't mean that we have to do it that way. It doesn't mean that we even judge the people that are doing it that way, because they're, that's their life, and that's their exchange, and that's the kind of they're absolutely entitled to run things the way, within the law, which, human law, they are entitled to run things the way that they feel comfortable. But that doesn't mean that we have to do the same. We can actually make different choices. And we need to understand that when we're making choices that feel right for our hearts, which is different for everybody, that we are actually cultivating a karma in our own life that will reflect that. You're weaving strands with every thought, and with every action, and every choice. You are weaving a strand of reaction in the physical plane. And that is the really profound teaching underneath all of this. So we want to think about, well, what are we weaving right now in this exchange? And the minute we start to think that, there's a lot of things that can come up. Well, I should be doing this. I should have done this differently, because we all have this. We all have this internal sense of what is kind, what is loving, and what is fair. And it's different. It might be different for each of us, but we all have it. And it's important for us to listen to our own hearts and sense, and those things that come up, we immediately justify them out. So all of a sudden, oh, I should have probably, if I look at things in the context of what am I weaving karmically right now, I should have probably had this conversation and made sure that this was really clear instead of being vague about that and allowing that person to okay. So I want to encourage you to not take that little voice that comes up that says, you know what, you might want to change that, and starts to justify, oh, but everybody does that, and oh, but this and this and this and this. Because in the law, in the spiritual law, in the way that energies flow, that justification doesn't change what happened. The justification doesn't change the choice, the thoughts, the actions. In fact, the justifications can actually kind of make it act. What's the word that I'm looking for? Crystallizes the karmic response that you made. It could actually play against you because you're now justifying your own behavior, because then you're getting into the ego coming in and going, no, 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 I always make this is our own way of self-identification. Oh, I always make a good choice for everybody. And this is, and you play into your own ideas of who you think you are, not based on who you are, but based on your idea of who you want to be. And then you crystallize this, right? With justifications. So we want to be really careful with that. If you're choosing to have a path that you're creating a cyclical response of kindness and love and compassion and fair, and what fair means, because really, yeah, in the scheme of a lot of things in this realm, fair, that's not what any of this is. This is not about being fair, right? But we can cultivate that, just because that is what everybody so I'll just leave that with you. This is the message that has been coming up for me in so many different ways, that we don't have to do it this way because everybody else does it that way, which is a really simple thing that we hear a lot, especially when we're talking to kids, but it happens in everything. Like, we don't have to treat our servers, that our waitresses or wait staff, a certain way because everybody else does. We don't have to make sure we're only talking and saying these little things because everybody else is making sure it's short. Maybe that person needs you to spend some more time. We're told to stay away from certain types of people. Well, maybe your heart is saying something different. I had a show last night, and there was someone at the bar who had I didn't notice this until we were talking, but has didn't have use of one of his eyes, and he was telling me as I was talking to him after the show. I was waiting for us to pack up so we could leave. He was telling me about just some really hard things that he's gone through, and that he suffers from alcoholism. He was telling me, but he had lost his mom, and he lost his dad, and he had lost his sister. And just really hard. He had been homeless for a while. Really hard things. And I could see other people that were working with me in our show worried about me, and coming over and checking. But I kept checking in with my heart, and I kept thinking, feeling very strongly, well, this exchange is important. This exchange is important for both of us. We're both equal people. We're both divine souls. Um, and none of us are above having really hard things happen, and none of us are above the illusions that hit, that cause us to make decisions that we wouldn't normally make, because we're distressed, because we're in depression, because we're having these really, really hard cycles of occurrences. All of us will have those. All of us have had those in some way or another. And anything that we witness in another human, which is also part of us and also a reflection of us, is not something that that we are above, or you know what I'm saying. We are absolutely, all of us are able to be in the exact same space. So and none of us can say that we, even the greatest saints and masters of the planet have had situations that were so intense that they had to grapple with feelings and illusions and the realities of things that were very intense, that changed and shifted. Every single living being has to go through that. So I'm not saying if you feel danger to talk to somebody that you feel scared of, you might want to look at the fear and where it's coming from. And is it coming from a societal indoctrination, or is it actually coming from that person? And at one point, the person looked at me and said, "Can we be friends?" And I could feel, the loneliness that in that statement. And so I just want to encourage you to follow your heart. Swami says that some of the most afflicted beings on the planet are actually saints or angels in disguise. They're actually high divine beings that are here to burn off karma very quickly, or to go through a process. And they've taken on this agreement with the mother in order to refine something, work through something, be able to help more in another way, in another life or later. So we want to remember that, um, and remember that just because just because society says to do something doesn't necessarily mean that's what we should do. Okay. So let's go into the reading for today. This is from one of my beloved gurus, Sri Kalishwar. This was from a transcript in Penaconda, I believe, in January 7th, 1999. So we're talking about deep silence. So these are the opening talks. He was going to reveal, he said the students need several tools to succeed: confidence, patience, faith, and deep silence. You can connect to any soul in the universe through the channel of deep silence. So let me make sure. This is sharing. There we go. The deep silence. Here we go. There's many kinds and stages of silence, for us to pass through and then finally master. When you finish talking after instructing us to meditate for 12 to midnight, so call Jesus to silence, to the silence in your heart. Invite him into your heart and soul. Say, my heart is open. The doors of my soul are open. Come stay forever. January 7th, 1999, Sai Kalishwara, 26th birthday. The next day, January 8th, Sri Kaleshwar gave a talk and mixed Telugu and English to a Baba Mandir packed full of Indians and the small group of Western students. He taught a mantra to connect to his master Shirdi Sai Baba. Om Sranam Sadguru Sai Nathaya Namaha. Later, he spoke with the Western students privately. Deep silence is cosmic energy. I want to talk on the deep silence in the universe, the cosmic energy. It's a big confusion. The cosmic energy, what is that? You know, the cosmic energy. What is that? You have any idea about cosmic energy? There is the deepest silence in the universe. In the silence, there is a huge information hidden in that. You understand? That is called the cosmic. Silence teaches God knowledge. When we have the ability to receive the silence in our heart, then automatically the purification of the silence gives the highest part information. Automatically, that information comes. Before that, you have no idea what you're talking about, what you're expressing to people. Some people have those kinds of channels that automatically comes. It means they have the links to the silence. Then the silence teaches unbelievable meditations. Now we are here in this air. Some millions of channels of information are also there. The scientificism, the violence, different kinds of messages, radio frequencies, different TV channels, whatever it is. Just like that, the soul messages are unbelievably. We can see them. We can talk with our soul energy from here to anywhere, to any planet from here. That's called cosmic. The silence systems, it is only possible to communicate soul to soul through the silence. They're called the silence systems. Very easy to go up to reach that. It's perfect, it's true. Only through the silence. In the silence, whole Vedas, the mantras, everything is created by the silence, from the silence. Before that, reaching the silence, nobody knew. Veda Vyasa and all the supernatural people who have written the Vedas, they went into the forest. There, nobody could see any human being. They sat under the trees all together for some years. They went to the very deepest silence to receive the higher level stages of the silence. Then from there, they got a lot of information and they spoke that. Who really has the strong silence ability? Even if a wild animal is coming in front of you, that silence energy can attack that to make it to come and sit there. So if you're silent, you can even control the animals. Then even the tiger roaring comes and sits in front of your feet. Only through the silence energy can we send him that. Talking or command to sit there. Silence is one kind of technique to receive God energy. To be in the silence, it's very important to receive and raise up the silence vibrations in our hearts very specifically. Soul attractions, soul feelings, soul vibrations. Suppose two people see or meet each other. For a little time, they have a little angry feelings towards each other. Then later, automatically, they fall in love, like faith attraction. What is the soul-to-soul communication running between these two? For example, I went one time with one of my students to another country, and one female student saw him. She just saw him. Then her heart was broken. Broken means she totally fell in love with him. When she is leaving from the country, she's crying. It means his soul, without his notice, his soul energy is attacking her. Attacking means imprisoning her. Yes, she's in deep love. I tried to heal her, but I gave up. Okay, I blessed her. She's coming again to India. That vibration, that feelings energy picks up in a few ladies in the group. Different kinds of feelings come. It is nothing but the soul. Only the soul feelings, just soul vibrations. Each person's soul has different kinds of energies. When another person's energies are perfectly very suitable, then automatically, if the soul gets closer to another soul, it automatically draws them closer. Automatically it comes closer, attracting like a magnet, north and south poles, south and north pole. You understand? There's a pulling attraction, pulling the opposite other soul, the soul's vibration, the soul's attraction. Some people are really, really thickest of friends. Nobody can break their relationship. They're real friends. It means they're souls. They're made for each other. In the universe, nobody can separate them, not their bodies, but their feelings, the vibrations. When he thinks on his friend, automatically the tears come. When he thinks about him, the tear comes up. It means the emotions. All the energy is coming like a flowing. Soul vibration, silence, energy transforms others. You must try to produce those kinds of feelings in your soul that can be suitable to thousands of people. I prepared for my soul in many lifetimes to fit anybody in the world. If I see anybody, what kind of vibrations is soul? It's flexible, that kind of technique everybody needs. So let's go into Narada and Valmiki. So Narada and Valmiki. For example, Valmiki, he is a robber in the forest. Whoever goes through the forest, the passengers, he catches everybody. Then he steals all their money. Then he beats them, whatever the ability to make them into tears and make them cry. He tortured the people he robbed unbelievably in that part. One day, Narada, a beautiful saint, Narada is a troublemaker. Valmiki, this whole story happens, he's saying. Only think, remember one person, that's Narada, the saint. All different kinds of stories happen only through him. He's a troublemaker. He goes to one person, he tells a different thing, negative things on another person. Then again, he goes to the other person, he tells negative things on them, on him, the first person. Then he's very happy. Both are fighting. So he creates like division. He is very happy. Oh, lovely. I did a great job. That person, Narada, is traveling in the forest. Okay. So we get kind of his energy, and Valmiki is the robber. So he sees Narada. He says, hey, it is someone. We have to do some trouble to him. So he caught the person. Hey, Narada, what do you have? Narada says, I have nothing with me, just one musical instrument. And always he carries this musical instrument in his hand. Valmiki says, didn't believe him. No, you're kidding. You have something. Then he tested Narada's musical instrument and he broke it. He just wanted to torture Narada. So then he tied him in the tree and hanged him in the tree. Actually, Narada is a beautiful, powerful saint. And at the time, he told Valmiki, actually, you did lots of unbelievable negativity in your life. If you want to see the negativity, I will show you. And Valmiki says, what negativity did I do? And he says, robbing everyone, beating everybody, killing people. You're a number one criminal in this universe. Next life, you are born like an animal. Nah, Valmiki says, I don't care. I don't believe your word. So Narada says, let me show you the proof. Then Narada showed Valmiki his negativity mountain. It's a mountain of negativity. You see how much negativity is there with you? This negativity, one day you must enjoy this. But you did this bad karma in your life. You made millions of souls suffer. It's the negativity you attracted. Nobody can help you. So he's doomed to experience this mountain of negativity. Valmiki says, right now, it's not my fault. Whatever I did for money. I share with my wife and children, my mother and my father. It must all go to them. It must go to them. Why is all this negative? Narada says, no, you are the responsible person. So you meditate. Valmiki says, okay, I will go and ask them if they share or not the negativity, the bad karma. So then he went to his aunt, his hut, near the hut. Most times he was always staying in the trees. He was hanging out in the trees. He went and asked his wife, are you sharing the negativities? Are you sharing the negativities? She says, no, this karma, I'm your wife. You must get the food, but I never asked what kind of food. You bring, just when I was hungry, it's your duty to bring the food. The children, the kids can't go and get the food. Your parents are very old, they can't walk. So we never told you to do this negative karma. You did it. We didn't know anything about it. Then again, he came to Narada. Valmiki came to Narada. I'm very sorry. Please tell how you release all my negativities. Then Narada told Valmiki to say the word Rama, just one simple word. You be very silent in deep meditation, thinking on Rama. You meditate, and then automatically the karma goes down. When you raise up your silence consciousness, then automatically your soul will be perfectly all right. Then you'll be totally up, always. God will accept all of your mistakes if you work hard. Yes, I did it, he says. Then God washes everything. The consciousness and silence consciousness, he blesses to you automatically. Huge information from God you can receive. Then Valmiki sat under the tree, and for many years he meditated. Like that, Valmiki changed the world, even though his world, even though he was cruel. By awareness of his talking, by awareness of his energy, even that cruel person changed. Come on, let's do it. Then he sacrificed his life to God. He is the first person who wrote about Rama, Sita, Lakshman, everybody. Valmiki is the author of the Indian epic Ramayana. It's one of the Vedas. Otherwise, nobody would know about the drama in India. He is the main person. The Indian tradition says. So my position, as much as possible, is to be in the very silence, thinking whatever the holy mantra you receive, just chanting that. So if you received a personal mantra, for example, just chanting that, enjoying the deep silence in your heart. So this is the story that Sri Kalashwar says is true, of how you can go from committing really, atrocities and cruelty, and that through simple silence meditation of awareness and and of what you have done and who you have been being in the world, that is a way to shift all of the karmic patterns in your life, that actually will shift it for you, instead of having to live through the karmas that you created. So it's almost like when you are doing negative or cruel actions, you're creating the pathway in front of you that will take you through very similar ups and downs that you created for others. You will go through similar ones. And that through the silence meditation, it clears those paths out, so you don't have to actually walk them, because you're taking responsibility and you're being proactive. Another angle of meditation, right? God is the main creator. So what is first, egg or the chicken? God is the main creator. He has all visions. Then he created everything. He created the tiger. He created the lamb. Tiger's food is the lamb. The lamb's food is the grass, leaves. You understand? The tiger can't eat the grass and leaves. Is it possible the tiger eats the grass? The food is the animals. God is the creator. He knows everything. We just need to know where to take God, to hold or connect to God. It's the only thing that we need to understand, the path to God. He's very kind, and he's a lot of sympathy for us. If we understand his activities, his dharma, it's easy to find him. We start to know him more, we can know where to go. Then he comes to us. He always lives with us. He's here. So Baba filtered those recognizing his soul vibration. So this is talking about getting to know these divine energies, and then how that divine energies will work with you once you know them. Even Shirdi Baba is a form of God. Actually, he's an avatar, but he came as the form of a beggar. The God is living in him. but he takes the ganja. He eats the mutton and the chicken, which is something most saints don't do. But whatever the activities God is just creating in him, he is crazy. He always demands the money. Whoever comes in front of him, he says, you put the 10 rupees here, then you talk. He demands like that. You understand? God is just creating things through him to make the people not have faith on him. So it's talking about how there's that mechanism that will make it very difficult to have a relationship with the divine in order to cultivate your willpower to go to the divine. Make sense? Only a few percent saw some powerful miracles. They're totally trusting in this vibration. Whoever saw Baba like that, they're very attached now because they saw the miracles. Only after he left the body, then everybody else knew his energy. Oh, what we missed, what we wasted our time. So God is a big illusion master. He threw a small illusion on the people. Then he played games, then he left. Like that, God is very smart. God is really unbelievably smart. Nobody can estimate what he can do. If we think, oh, he is doing this thing, then no, he goes another way. If he gets your hands, then everything goes to surrender. So he's getting you to surrender. Okay, I surrender to you. Do whatever you want, but don't make my life horrible. Even to me, I say only one word when I go to Baba, to anybody, any holy person. Ramakrishna, Paramahamsa, Shiva, any holy person, I just say, make me happy. These are the words. And we put this in, this is something that you can think about to say in your own prayers. And a lot of times, if you say exactly these words, there's extra power to them. Make me happy. Make all my friends happy. Make the whole universe happy. Don't make any games with me, please. Just one word. No more illusions coming for me. No more illusions straight to me. So you could write those down and you could use this as something that you, when you open your heart daily, you can ask for this. Make me happy. Make all my friends happy. Make the whole universe happy. Don't make any games with me, please. No more illusions coming for me. No more illusions straight to me. God rewards satisfaction. Satisfaction. I can't get no, right? Satisfaction is very important. Just to be satisfied with whatever we have in our lives. Who has no satisfaction? Definitely, they're receiving a lot of stress. So when you are feeling dissatisfied all the time, where you're looking at things and thinking, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, this isn't right. You're receiving a lot of stress, tension, irritation, anxiety, insults, unworthiness, guilt, painful feelings. These are all things we are receiving. If we have satisfaction, hey, I'm very happy. I don't need anything. You understand? Whoever's really satisfied, he's the number one wealthy person. He is the successful person. Whoever is satisfied, then God goes, okay, you take more. You take more. This is his dharma. I want you to know this is such a divine truth that I've seen again and again and again and again. Quickest way to change something, become satisfied with how it is. Quickest way to change something is to say, all right, find the things that you like about how things are right now, everything, just as it is. Just as it is. Quickest way to change. It happens every time. And this is actually spiritual law. And this is what Sri College is talking about. Same as how Baba tested thousands of people in his lives. In this lifetime, I practically tested many people. Who has the real satisfaction? Who doesn't want anything? That person is the very greatest opportunities. The very greatest good things come in front of them. Come on, share this. Come on, share this. Come on, share that. Share this. Why? Because God is going to test you again by putting something else in front of you. The rest is dharma. Not only he, our soul attracts the good things in front of us. So satisfaction is the number one important thing in a human being's life. If you lack satisfaction, it's the main cause of your karmas because it creates desire. There's bad karma, there is good karma. It links to the last life, to the present life, and to the next. So it's a link between the lives. Please, everybody, be in silence at least 10 hours every day. This is what he told the people at the ashram at the time. So then we go to the introduction to the angels. Sri Kalashwar began by saying he was going to talk about something that had not been talked about in this way for many thousands of years. The topic was angels. He said there were 3 types of categories of angels, with a total of 108 main angels in all. The first category he called were workers and said that they were 8 in number. The second type he called helpers, and they are 100 in number. The third category of angels, he said, were zillions of smaller energies. Handling the angels, he said, depends on confidence. Confidence is the key. Surprisingly, next he brought up Muhammad. This was the first time I can recall him mentioning that name. He described Muhammad as the number 1 master with the angels. Next, he spoke of Jesus and his great supreme mastery with the angels. Jesus is number 1. His agreement with God was to take all the suffering from the souls in the universe in this way through the angel mechanisms. Then he described how angels are attracted to the deep, high silence vibrations of the soul, like a bee comes to the flower attracted to the pollen inside. Once the angels are present around you, hook them with a mantra, no other information. Hooking the angels in this way is an art, a psychology of the energy. The deep silence increases soul energy. There's no way for increasing your soul's vibration except through the deep silence. The deep silence stages are key for his students at this time. Developing mastery of silence is a first step, like learning the alphabet before you read. There are 9 stages of silence, he said, but he did not elaborate further at that time. He does later. There are different types of silence: inner silence, outer silence, kundalini silence, and others without names they've given. Deep silence can be transmitted from one another as a form of Shaktipat, which is that healing, the Shaktipat healing that when you cultivate the channels through certain processes, you can give Shaktipat. Next, Sri Kalashwar taught a breathing technique, a pranayama, to bring silence. Breathing the breath in, then holding, then retaining. And so this is breathing in through the left, for example. This is the pranayama technique. Take your thumb, you cover the right nostril, you breathe in through the left nostril. You hold the breath, cover the left nostril, breathe out through the right. Then breathe in through the right. Hold, breathe out through the left. And this balances the nadis of the male and female aspects, all of the energy systems in your body. And then you can do that in that holding. You can silently chant a single word. A petal of the Sri chakra. On the Sri chakra, they have bijakras, which are each syllable is actually an angel, is what Kalashwar says. So Om Yamata Rajabana Sala. Each one is an angel. Next, he shifted topics to pyramids. He spoke of how pyramids can be built with angels, so that structures are always sucking cosmic energy inside, automatically creating silence energy inside. He said power objects can be charged with healing energy too. He described a meditation healing technique of holding flowers to your chest and in your arms in a deep trance. Meditate on God, think on God. Don't talk too much. Overthinking is no good. The biggest culprit to our spiritual development and our development of communicating through our hearts is overthinking and talking too much. Guruji told everyone for the rest of our lives to meditate at least 2 hours a day. He says 3:30 a.m. was the best time to start for this kind of deep silence meditation work. Use white color underneath the body while meditating. And when meditating in deep silence, it increases the clarity and the effectiveness of all you do and always. You can do 10 hours of work in just 6 hours because you'll be more present and aware. You have more facilities available to you when you practice silence meditation. I teach the shortcuts: mantra, yantra, tantra. Finally, tantrum. Kaleshwar closed the talk by sharing painful challenges in his earlier life. He recalled spending 6 years reading and studying the palm leaf books at home in secret. When his father found his secret notebooks, he burned the translations that Sri Kaleshwar had meticulously created of those books, and he kicked him out of the house. He then had to live in the doorway of a temple, a young man and a student, a beggar like his master, Shirdi Baba. So the power of the knowledge he was sharing was palpable. And after the talk, laying on the floor in the crowd group, rooms of 6 or more per room, after getting ready to depart for the next morning for a travel, no one could sleep. We were all buzzing with excitement because they were entering the realm of God's angels. So this is the teachings for this time, and we are grateful. Jai Guru, Jai Ma. So he goes into more details later as we go. But that's just really, really great, packed with a bunch of different things that we can kind of meditate and think about. I think because we'll talk more about getting into the silence. We talked the last week. And I try in the blessing portal for us to practice the stages of silence so that we can get better at calming the mind and the body and going into your heart. There's stages after that, obviously, but those are the ones that we start with. Gets you through the first 5 stages. Go ahead and keep practicing those where you first talk to the body and you tell your body, hey, we're going to work in communion now. And you talk to your mind, and we're going to lie still and be silent for a while. Then you go into your heart, and then you start your personal mantra, or Om Namah Shivaya if you don't have a personal mantra. If you want a personal mantra, by the way, just let me know, and I'll give you the information to get a personal mantra from Sri Kaleshwar. It's he devised a system for that. The personal mantras are very, very, very important. He even says you could just repeat that over and over. It's pulling in your highest divine energy into your soul, into your body, from your soul. Let's also think about another takeaway to think about is the satisfaction principle. So whatever you're most upset with at this time about how things are going in your life, you could decide this week that you are going to look for ways to find satisfaction with that circumstance or situation or issue. And the way that you do that is start to look at what's working about it, what it's teaching you, what you're learning, what the hidden gifts are. And if you don't know, you can say in your prayers, show me the gift of whatever this is. If it's a health issue, show me the gift of this health issue. Show me the gift of not having money. Show me what I'm learning from that. And then a deeper one, show me the blocks from what is blocking me from having wellness in my life? What is blocking me from making more money? What is blocking me from giving? What is blocking me from my relationship with such and such? What is blocking? Those things will show you what the gifts are. If you can see your blocks, you will see what the gift is. because you can see that the gift is that you get to work through the block. And working through these blocks and these, a lot of times we have this one thing that we want or this one thing that we're focused on, but the fact of the matter is that those blocks that we can see, or the one thing you're working on, is extends through so many different things. I keep feeling the need to put this the Sri chakra up while I'm talking, so I'm just gonna hold it here. So it has so many different gifts. So I want to encourage here. So I want to encourage you, to look. This is the Divine Mother looking at you. When you look at the mother, she looks back and she gives you everything in there. So look for the gifts for the way that things are right now. You don't like your room. Look for things about the room that work. What works about that? And only focus on those things. I like this about the room. If this room wasn't just like this, then I wouldn't get to do this, right? If this room didn't have this, then I wouldn't be able to do this. Focus on the things that are working. And when you do that over a couple days, and really don't allow yourself to think of what's not working, just what is working, you start to cultivate satisfaction. Because then you're like, okay, well, no, I can see that this is working for me. Because these things are happening, or I'm learning at this, and you start to accept it and embrace it. And those are the steps to satisfaction. And then I have a gratitude workshop. This is also leading to gratitude, right? This is how all that works. So really, yeah, can you feel the powerful energy from this Sri chakra? It's just buzzing right now. You want to focus on this point. This is the Nada Bindu point. That's the point to Brahma consciousness. That's the point to silence. When you want to cultivate more silence and you're just in your beginning stages, and if you want to on your own, you can imagine that point and going through that dot in the center into Brahma consciousness. Yeah, it takes you right into trance. It's beautiful. So look for the things that are working with all the issues. Don't stop picking things apart. Just choose to not pick those. Oh, it has to be like this. It's not like this. I die, this and this. You're creating stress and drama and karma. The number one successful people are looking, and success, is different for everybody. But if you cultivate a satisfaction, it creates a gratitude for the way things are, and you will see things shift. I cannot tell you how many times I have moved, for example, the minute I was finally happy with where I was. The minute I did it. So I know, for example, I know every time you want to shift your job, become really happy with your job. Really, just like find everything that you like about it and only feed those thoughts and feed your heart into I'm going to like this. Every time it within days, it's gone. You are unhappy with the way your relationship is going, start to really, really think about all the really great things about your relationship that you're not. So that relationship will either grow immediately or you will find a new one. I mean, that's the power of this. It really is that fast and that true. And yeah, so practice that. So let's take a couple minutes and just, you can do this with your eyes open if you want to focus on the Sri chakra, or you can do this with your eyes closed and then imagine the Nada Bindu point in your third eye. Just meditate and let things rise up for you that stuck out for you from the reading, from the talk today. And place some intentions in your heart. Blessings to each and every one of you. I thank you for your hearts and for your divine souls and wisdom. And let us take any positive energy that was generated here today, that was in excess, that we can send out into the world to create peace and happiness to those most in need, most suffering at this time. And we also ask that each one of us be a beacon in this world for kindness, love, and compassion. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be happy. We thank the Guru Parampara, Sri Kalashwar, the Archangels, Master Jesus, Mother Mary, Jai Guru, Jai Mother.